I've got so many questions for Emily. I'm so excited that she's on the show.
This interview is going to go right to the wire. This is going to last a long time. Let's hurry along here and get to Durham, North Carolina, because MCO is with us on the show. Emily Cole, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are y'all? Thank you so much for having me.
All right. I want to start with linear algebra being one of your favorite classes. There is no chance, Packer. There is no chance.
Not for you.
No, for me, there is zero chance. In fact, when I saw the clip with the screen on your computer, Packer will tell you I was doing this right here.
Hiding under the desk.
Oh, my God. Not again.
I promise if you got into it and had a good teacher, I could get you to like it.
I agree with that.
I'm 56 years old, Emily. There is no chance. I don't care. I don't care who you gave me as a teacher. I'm not liking it. So there you go.
All right, Emily, I've got so many questions for you.
I'm ready for all of them.
All right, here we go. I'm going to first start with the social media aspect of this, because you really have become a TikTok star. And I saw your talk. What makes a great TikTok video? Because I don't get it. I mean, again, I'm not I'm not throwing the dart at the bullseye here, but I'm just fascinated because my daughters love it. Like, this is their go-to social media aspect. And they're like, Dad, look at this one. And they show it to me. And I'm like, well, over my head. So I want you to explain to me what makes a great TikTok video.
You know, that's a great question. I think that there are a lot of different things. There are obviously trending sounds and the quality of the video that keep people intrigued, but definitely getting it to more people and more reach is watch time. So you've got to make sure that every single part of the video is intriguing and keeps them on. But I think the biggest thing for me has just been really letting the audience get to know me and kind of showing who I am through my videos.
So it's as much personality as it is potentially a message. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And technique of knowing how to create them.
All right. Now, we saw the clip in the All Access feature where, you're talking about the sunlight in the building and all that. So I get all the factors that go into that. The thing I'm fascinated about is the way you've maximized the social media platform for name, image, and likeness and other things. I mean, you're in the process of working on a book, as I understand it. You've gotten some NIL opportunity out of all this. How much of that is reflective to the work that just kind of was germinated off social media, and in particular, I guess, TikTok?
I think most of it, I've gotten a lot of people reach out to me just because of the quality and the quantity, too, of how often I post. I feel like people can really feel like they can see an inside peek into my life because every day I post how many miles I ran that day and what my routine is. And so a lot of companies have reached out and wanted to be a part of that, which has just been really cool with the new NIL rules.
Emily, if you could do a TikTok video with any current Duke student athlete, who would you pick first?
That's a great question. I would probably say, I'm friends with him, and I definitely could do this, but probably Nakai Montgomery. He does lacrosse and football, and he's just a stud.
Yeah, no, he's great.
So all right, just again, I just want to get into a mind of a TikTok idea here. If I said, all right, you got it, what would you do? I mean, what would the idea be right off the top of your head? Like your instinct first, this is what would I do? What would you do with him?
Wait, if you asked me what you should create right now?
Right now. He walks in the room. He's going to walk in the room here in 3 minutes. What are we going to do?
I would say to give someone a behind the scenes of your show and to kind of walk them through the studio and what people see off of the camera, because that's what they're really intrigued in. They can watch your show on TV, but they have no idea what happens behind the scenes. And so they'd love to get to hear that and hear you explain through it like you'd have to be talking to the camera yourself.
All right, so let me ask you.
Do you know, Emily?
Let me ask you this, Emily. Are we going to be in the TikTok later today on your TikTok?
Oh, absolutely you are. I already have it started.
Look at what happens.
We have just become TikTok stars just like that.
Make sure you tag me in the TikTok.
Barely
I have
lifted a finger.
And I got to tell you,
TikTok world isn't ready for you.
That's exactly. Oh, you don't know how accurate a statement that is.
Full disclosure here. when your name popped up, I kind of heard about the TikTok stuff and the social media influence on 158,000 followers and all this on TikTok. And I actually called my daughter in Washington, who just turned 23. She works in D.C. And I said, "Are you familiar with Emily Cole?" "Oh yeah, I know who that is. She's the track star at Duke, and she's on TikTok." I went, "That's it."
Awesome.
She goes, "She's on the show tomorrow." I went, "Yeah, she's on the show tomorrow." She goes, "Oh yeah, I saw the whole story and everything, and like she posts a lot. It's good." Okay, thanks.
Oh my gosh, that just made my day. It's been really cool to see how far it reaches. Like I'll have people from, my sister lived in London for a while, and people there being like, "Oh my gosh, your sister's the one that makes those TikToks." I was like, "Oh my gosh."
By the way, as far as the book goes, what's the genesis of all that? Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
again,
as fascinated by that as
you're
anything.
working on so many cool things here. So give me the lowdown on the
Thank you.
book.
So the book really started my senior year of high school. I did volleyball and basketball up until my senior year and wasn't focused on running. And I didn't think that I was going to be able to play in college any sport. I was way more focused on academics. And I got really passionate about nutrition and started fueling myself well, and really feeling that along with not doing volleyball and basketball, having the proper fuel for my running made it so much more enjoyable. And I saw a lot of success on the track that allowed me to be here at Duke today. And it really changed the course of my life, learning how to fuel. And so I became super passionate about it, and all my friends were telling me, "Emily, you should write a cookbook." And so for a while I tried to put some recipes together, but I just couldn't figure out how to get it published. And so I kind of let it fall through the cracks. And then I took a gap semester last fall whenever COVID was happening. And I saw this program where they walk you through writing a book from beginning to end. And they partner you with a publisher and editors. And so I was like, I have to sign up for this. And it ended up evolving into a full-blown guide to sports nutrition, because that's something that I really feel could have benefited me way earlier on in my sports career. And it doesn't really exist. So I thought that if I created that coming from a current student athlete, it would be really valuable to younger aspiring athletes. And I also interview a bunch of incredible people for the book, like April Ross and a bunch of different elite athletes. And I give them each their own chapter. I have one core sports nutrition concept come from each of their stories, and a recipe at the end of their chapter teaching you how to implement it.
Wow.
That's a good idea.
Okay. I know you just finished second in the 3,000 meter steeplechase at the ACCs, right? Personal best.
Right.
Congratulations there.
Thank you
So it's
much.
on to regionals, and then keep your fingers crossed for nationals. You love to
Exactly.
compete. The one thing I found out last night and kind of diving through some of your social media is like you do practice runs of like 10 miles. Is that about right? Am I getting that correct?
You are getting that correct. Yep. Every weekend I do my 14-mile long run. So
Pack.
Well, I do too, except for the 14 miles.
Yeah.
I cut that part
yours
out.
sounds a
It's
lot
piece
better
of
than
cake.
mine.
Oh yeah, it's a piece of cake.
Yeah.
No doubt.
What do we run 14 miles in? I'm just curious because I know what I run, allegedly walk 4 miles in. So what do we do 14 miles in? What's the time on that?
I'm not exactly sure total time, but I'll go like 7:15 pace for each mile.
7:15 a mile, huh?
Gosh.
Yeah, that's nice.
By the way, I got to give you props because, you know, I tell Wes all the time, we both in agreement here. The student athletes in this league
Yeah.
are really remarkable. And you don't know us from the Man on the Moon, and we're having a conversation as if we've known you for 20 years. But you really, I get a sense, have thoroughly enjoyed what college is supposed to be about. I mean, you love what you do. You got great teammates. You've been able to maximize social media. You're writing a book. You're getting an incredible education. You love to compete. You probably have a chance to see the world from a number of different reasons. I mean, does it get any better for you than this experience that's called Duke University?
You know, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I honestly, when my parents were here this weekend, they got to be here for that really special weekend of getting second on our home track at ACCs. And I was talking to them and I was like, guys, you know, I'm very well aware that I'm living the dream right now.
That's all right.
But I'm
Well,
just
you're
really grateful for
maximizing
it
it.
all. And I'm mostly grateful just for all the incredible people in my life that have supported me to help me get here.
That's cool. All right. I do want to ask one more thing about your NIL stuff. is you have an NIL arrangement with H&R Block. Is that right? Am I missing something here? Is that correct? And that seems very appropriate because Mark and I have a lot of conversations about the tax implications that come from NIL for student athletes. And then, Emily, believe it or not, there's some that didn't realize that Uncle Sam gets a cut of every dollar that comes through the NIL portal, so to speak.
I'm sure, no. That has been one of my favorite partnerships for sure. They were a dream to work with. But they were having a women in sports empowerment campaign where they really tried to close the gap in NIL endorsements between male and female athletes. So I was super grateful to be a part of that, and it incorporated tax education. And even I, who did have some education on taxes beforehand, thought that since I hadn't made enough that it wouldn't apply to me, but there was a specific tax that did. So they were super helpful in walking me through the whole process, and I'm really grateful to get to have been a part of that whole partnership.
Brilliant. By the way, I'm going to give you another wish here. What company would you love to have an NIL deal with?
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I've thought about it a lot, and it's hard for me to pick. I think that the little girl in me, it's hard for me to not say Nike. Just because looking up to all of the, especially different runners growing up too. But I'm also really passionate about different health and wellness companies. So anything in that realm, I'd be super excited to work with them too.
Wow, that'd be a natural fit. You'd be great at both of them.
I can't wait for the last question here because we've already heard the easiest class is linear algebra.
Yeah, this is what we do, Emily, since you're making your debut, and hopefully we'll get you back. But every time we have a student athlete on, we ask this question for the very first time. Since you've been at Duke University, what has been your hardest class?
You know, I feel very prepared for this question because it was a very difficult class. It was discrete math for computer science.
Okay, look, all of my math was discrete. I mean, no offense to.
It's basically
okay, what
proofs,
is it?
But for coding.
Oh,
Not my
yeah,
cup of tea.
yeah. No, nobody in the world. I mean, look, there's some of these classes that, quite frankly, I think they make them up on the back of a napkin and they go, "We're going to teach this class." Well, what are we teaching? We don't know. We'll kind of go along.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh,
By the way, who is the coolest person that follows you on TikTok? Do you know?
Who? Yeah.
The coolest
the biggest-
person who follows me on
Yeah, I
TikTok?
mean, for
I've
you,
got to
I mean,
say
for-
my sister. My sister's a country
wait,
music artist.
She is. Really?
She is, yep. She lives in Nashville, and she's amazing.
Wow.
What's her name?
Julia Cole. Julia Music.
Cole. Okay.
All right, away from family,
Really cool.
have you found that there's could be another athlete, maybe it's a politician, maybe it's somebody in entertainment? I mean, do you know?
I don't
following
know.
sample?
I honestly haven't gone through my followers on TikTok.
They're only
So I'm not sure, but that's
158,000.
probably
What are
something
you
I should
waiting
do
on?
and see who's watching my stuff.
Well, I mean, you never know.
Do it
right?
on a run. Do it on one of those 14-mile weekend runs. Just kind of scroll as you go.
I will during the whole run. I'll just be scrolling through like, oh, look who followed me.
Yeah.
There's a good idea.
That one's free. That didn't cost anything.
That's it. Hey, listen, congratulations, really, on all your success. You're a joy to talk to.
No, thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure, and y'all are so fun to talk to and be around, and I'm just really grateful to be a part of the show.
And now we're on TikTok.
Hey.
Hack.
And anytime you
And
want
now
to
you're
come to the
TikTok famous.
Listen, anytime you want to come to the basement and see a behind the scenes with two guys sitting in the basement with two dogs, we got all kinds
Got all
of
that
stuff
too.
here.
So there you go. Thanks,
Oh,
Emily.
God.
Be
Oh my
well.
gosh, y'all are the best.
Thank
See ya.
you. All right, Emily Cole of Duke.